Hello and welcome to the Low Tox Life podcast.
But I have this terrible phrase that's oatmeal's better than no meal. I will take that exercise snack. I'll take 10 squats over nothing. I'll take that 5-minute walk after dinner over nothing. It doesn't have to be an all or none. You just do what you can with what you have.
Welcome, I'm Alex, your host, and I'm thrilled to have Dr. Wendy Chorny joining us today to talk about what it looks like to care for, look after, strengthen, and improve our physical body. She is one of my favorite people online. She just gets into her gym clothes and shows you a few exercises using very imperfect home workout situations. The lighting's not perfect. Not only is she very generous with her online content and inspiration for us all, but she's also in clinic every day with people who've just had babies, with people who've had pelvic prolapse, so many different situations. And of course, we talk about midlife, hormones, and what we can be doing to support ourselves through that. Let's hear from our partners real quick and jump straight in. OzClimate have been supporting your journey to the healthiest home possible for years. My favourite two types of appliances they have are the Winix Air Purifier range and the dehumidifier range because, of course, moisture can happen to any home at any time. So we always want to make sure we're using climate gauges to assess whether we have too much humidity in our homes. And when it does go over that 60% mark and is staying over 60% persistently, either because it's raining or it's a humid season, all you need to do is know how to use dehumidifiers. This is something I have spent a lot of time educating on, and if you head to the @LowToxLife Instagram, you'll see there's a whole chunk of tiles on the feed with a white background. I did a 10-part series to step you through all the reasons that you need a dehumidifier and how to actually use it, what size you might need, what kind of situation you might need based on different types of floor plans. So I'm starting there because here in Australia, it is a more humid time of the year. So thrilled to have OzClimate supporting our low tox community, the Australians only, for the whole year of 2026. Use the Low Tox Life code at checkout. 10% off your order, even often if things are on sale. Enjoy.
Like you're my pen pal from far away, and we get to just have this little date, and I'm really excited to hang out.
What Wendy is not sharing is that we recorded last week and it was an absolute nightmare on the audio front. So here we are again. But yes, I would totally be up for making this a weekly thing.
I mean, this is our second date.
It is.
It's a fun second date. Here we go.
Super fun. You've even got the Valentine's bows in the background. I feel special. I'm wearing a necklace.
We are very special with necklaces and holiday decor.
We are, and I'm so excited to talk to you. There is a huge body of work that you do an incredible amount of sharing of for free for anyone who wants to be inspired by on the internet. And that's quite recent. What spurred you to jump online and start doing videos?
So I was talking to my girlfriend about this today because it has really, really grown. And originally, there are two real reasons. One is I do research with the University of Dayton, and the way you do studies is you have to have participants come to you. And I'm like, okay, if we want to do women's health research, we need women to come to us. We need women just like us. And that's originally the reason, was to get people to come to our research studies. But then I realized what a tool that social media and podcasts are to educate real women in real time, because women don't necessarily have the time to sit down and read the latest research article. They don't have time to read always that book that just came out. And so I could give little snippets and have little Wendy talks and review the research and help educate women, because I really think women need to know what's up.
Absolutely, Wendy. And I think, yes, we can all try and read the research, but there's nothing like someone who's actually designed studies, published studies, has a PhD to actually share the research that matters. Because I find in the world of influencers, and this is why I went from health coaching to starting the podcast very quickly because I went, hold on, people are asking me for expertise and I ain't no expert. I want to bring them on. And that's why the podcast started a decade ago.
Which
The
you've been doing a lovely job. Before
Thank
podcasts
you.
were what they are now, you were doing
Yeah,
this. So you really are a podcast pioneer.
really. Yes, I believe so.
Yes, you really are.
I just
It's
think
not
they're
a
an
PhD though. It's
oh,
different though. So
what's yours?
working well, so in the US, we have a doctor of physical therapy. So I'm
Hmm.
an autonomous being. However, I am very quirky that I am a researcher, but I am more on the side of the clinician. But I do research like a PhD. I have my friends that are PhDs alongside me, but I come up with the ideas. I'm in the trenches taking care of women and I'm a
Mm.
clinician. So it's very unique that a DPT is doing research, but we are a doctorate. It's just I can't teach at a doctor of physical therapy program and be tenured. So I'm a doctor,
Got it.
not a PhD, but yes. But I did
Look
my
at that. A
doctorate.
health professional being really humble and specific about their qualifications on the internet. Even better.
So I really like people to know that physical therapists are really we're educated. We have a
Mm.
lovely degree. I'm not an MD, so I have a doctorate, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of physical therapy.
Like a
So
chiropractor would be. They get to
yes,
call
so a
themselves
chiropractor has their
doctors.
own
Yeah.
doctorate as well. Correct. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's neat because I prescribe exercise. And
Hmm.
I do manual therapy and I do education. And so I am not a physical therapist for all people on the internet, but I do tell them about what physical therapy is and give general wellness. So I always say, I'm a physical therapist, but I'm not your physical therapist.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? And what I love about what you were describing in your relationship with researchers and people with research PhDs is we absolutely need the people in the trenches to be working in tandem with the people doing the physiological research, because I bet along the way of a study coming to fruition, you've said, yeah, but that's not going to work because most people, and then that would change course of a research paper.
Yes, I mean, the things I learned from interviewing women is pretty remarkable. It's some of the greatest things I learn is when I'm talking to them. And as you talk to woman after woman, it just starts to add up. You start to see a trend. For
Mm.
instance, about how they fit their exercise in, their feelings and beliefs about exercise. So that's incredibly helpful when I see that in a large grouping.
Yeah. And so that's exactly where I want to start today. I want to talk about some of these barriers to consistency and barriers through fear, because whether you're old, young, busy, not busy, I don't know who that is, but a lot of people have
They're also
tired. Yeah, recovering from illness. There are a lot of barriers to consistency. And what I love about your message, Wendy, is it is one of do something. And so let's unpack some of the barriers that are shared with you that you help knock down for people.
So a lot of women are, not necessarily supported. So for instance, let's talk about a woman who maybe just had a baby. Maybe she
Mm.
doesn't have childcare. So childcare is a limitation for her to exercise because she feels like she doesn't have the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes a woman who is in perimenopause or menopause, they're the sandwich generation. So their child's sporting events, they're helping taking care of their parents. They are giving everything to everyone and they have no time. And so something that is interesting is our exercise will evolve in the seasons of our life. And we have to be okay with that change. And
Mm.
sometimes we're able to exercise more than others. Sometimes we'll hurt so bad we are forced to exercise because we can't take that frozen shoulder or plantar fasciitis or tendonitis one more time. But like I think people have this all or nothing thought that if I don't have a half hour or an hour, if I don't have a chunk of time, I just won't do it. They fail before they even start.
Mm. I learned that lesson 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, I broke my foot. And I had this whole idea that I couldn't exercise. Now, a foot is quite a small part of my body. And looking back, there are many body parts. I could have been working in lots of different ways during that month or
But you were
two.
also probably bummed and you were probably down and you
Mm.
probably felt a little low. You probably needed somebody to encourage you and tell you
Yes.
options of how to move.
Mm.
That's why a community also matters for women. Women sometimes lack that motivation because they're tired. or they're
Yeah.
bummed, or they're sad, or their hormones make them feel low, you know?
Mm.
But I have this terrible phrase that's oatmeal's better than no meal. I will take that exercise snack. I'll take 10 squats over nothing. I'll take that 5-minute walk after dinner over nothing. It doesn't have to be an all or none. You just do what you can with what
Mm.
you have, a small amount of time or small amount of energy. Maybe you don't have weights and maybe you can do some like body weight things on the floor.
Yeah, that's it. I think we think it has to be this grand idea. The internet definitely doesn't help, right? Because
Social media is actually a
mm,
big problem for that. And I have
mm,
found by talking to women, they do compare themselves to these ladies on social media. And
or men, even worse.
yes, yes. Well, I
Mm,
will say, one of my tiny hangups about social media is I don't necessarily look like all these other influencers. And when I do exercise, I'm a real human in a real body with a real job and kids, and I eat real food. And so I don't always think I look like how other people do. But then I tell myself, you know what? I'm a real person. I deserve to be on the internet showing other real women how to do things. And I just will
mm.
get past that. And so
So are you saying there, Wendy, that you actually yourself every now and then have a bit of a comparisonitis creep?
only since I started doing exercise videos online,
Mm,
because I don't look like those influencers, but I had to get past myself because people deserve to see real people doing real
mm.
things.
Yeah.
Even if my exercise isn't so good, like what if I look like I'm struggling with that single leg balance because I have knee pain that day? I share it. I'll point it out in the
Mm,
video and be like, see that? You know,
yeah.
but I
And
think
here I am
people want,
anyway.
yeah, they want authentic, real humans. And this is something that I think I can bring to the table is real talk, taking care of
Mm.
real people. So,
Yeah, it's so important and it's really powerful. If you see yourself out there, you feel more motivated because you're like, look,
that's
they're
right.
doing it. I remember when I decided to get off my butt, especially when I then tore a tendon and I was like, okay, what? I'm going to lie here until my body's perfect. I think that's one of the biggest misnomers, isn't it?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then that's it, once a week with a trainer because I needed the support. Um, I
That
did strength
extrinsic
training.
motivation. Yes, that
I knew
extrinsic
I needed
motivation.
it. Yeah.
Now, as you worked out with your trainer, how did you feel as you continue to work out with that trainer?
Once a week, felt better, felt stronger, felt amazing. Thought, oh my gosh, once a week matters. Once a week makes a difference. Once a week got me to 200-kilo leg press on my 50th birthday. Like, that's incredible. So,
Yeah,
like you said, yeah, like you said, like once is better than nothing. It doesn't need to
yes.
be the perfect Stacey Sims. Like, sorry, Stacey, you're amazing. But like when you do a program like hers, which is incredibly empowering and so full of information, you get bombarded with all of these, 3 to 4 times a week, resistance training, like, and so you think, oh God, I'm not going to be healthy unless, and it's not true.
So perfection oftentimes paralyzes people because they think, I don't know what exercise to do, so I will do nothing. And
Mm,
this is where I say over and over again, we can do some basics well, like a squat. A
yeah.
squat is very simple, right? Or a bicep curl. I think most people do know where the bicep is. I think they know that a bicep curl is you bending your elbow,
Hmm.
right? And then I also think people understand what a squat is, where a squat is up and down versus a deadlift, which is more of a hinge at the hip, which
Hmm.
actually that would be the third exercise I recommend to women, even a postpartum mom, because she's picking up a car seat,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but if I could say, like, a bent over row, a bridge, a squat, a deadlift, a bicep curl, those are 5 exercises you could look up, you could do, and most everyone can do them. And if something hurts, then you drop that one that hurts and do what you can. If it's too
Mm.
easy, add a weight, and that's it. That's as difficult as it needs to be.
Yeah. And you mentioned the 5-minute walk after a meal. And there's some
Yes.
pretty amazing research around either the walk or a few squats or even a few calf raises right after a meal for
Yes.
blood sugar regulation.
Yes, our muscle is an endocrine organ. It's the pancreas's
Mm.
best friend. And so my partner is a type 1 diabetic. And so he uses insulin. However, after dinner, we'll take a walk. If it's terrible outside, we might do like the mini trampoline or squats. But as women age and go through the menopause transition, we don't manage blood sugar as well. We become more insulin resistant. And the way we fight this spread that we get in our middle is more movement and using our muscles. Our muscles are incredibly helpful in so many ways. It's shocking to me. And I'm a physical therapist, but like the research is just proving we really underestimated the importance of muscle strength and muscle mass.
I'm so glad Dr. Gabriel Lyon got on that train and started touting it. I had her on the show about it. I think it was like 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. And I was like, why does this woman's message not like just resonate everywhere yet? And she worked hard and she got it out there. It's so powerful.
Yes, her book is Forever Strong. It is a
Mm,
great read. It's a very easy read and it gives very plainly stated things that you can do. And I love it. It's a great book.
mm. Yeah, totally. So, okay, let's go back to these things that people tell you in a session that you have to help both psychologically and then
Yes.
motivationally break those
Yes.
barriers down.
So usually when I meet someone and I'm trying to encourage them to exercise, we have a couple things we have to do. One, we have to truly schedule where this exercise will live in your day. We can't just say morning or evening. We have to think, okay, the moment I get home, you're not going to sit down. You're going to change your clothes. Or my women I was talking to this weekend, they were telling me they were waking up a half hour to an hour earlier to do their exercise. One woman said she cut out her cleaning in the morning and did her exercise there, but she felt better. So, first, planning it and truly
Mm,
committing to that is the step one. And then number two, what exercises will we actually do? And I
mm.
listed off the bridge, squat, deadlift, bicep curl, bent over row. So
Yeah.
if that were the exercise program, where are you going to do that? In your
Mm,
basement? In your bedroom? Do you have weights? And you don't have to change your clothes. You can
mm.
do it in your work clothes. You don't need anything
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, I remember Dr. Chatterjee talking about that when I went to his event recently after I had him on the show. And he's that wonderful British doctor who does a
Yes.
lot of public health messaging around reversing type 2 diabetes, actually. And he said, I realized that I wasn't doing exercise in the morning because I felt like it had to be this whole section where there were different clothes, there was a different location. And now I fire up my coffee machine. I know it's going to take 5 minutes to get to where it needs to be to make the coffee. Instead of then jumping on my phone, I do a few push-ups, a few sit-ups, a few plank, like a couple of minutes plank, and fire up my do some squats. And it's a 5 minute routine. And I think it's so great to hear the practical, very specific, like you're talking about. It's not just, oh, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. It's what in your day allows for more of a snack, of exercise snack.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. And I think the exercise snacks have become very popular with my women. So exercise snacks could be 5 to 10 minutes of stretching before you even get out of your bed. So if your hip feels stiff, if you have pain down the back of your leg, and maybe you're doing some like ankle pumps or a pelvic tilt and hips side to side, maybe then after lunch, you do a little walk with your friends at work, or maybe you're doing squats at your desk, which the research is showing, doing body weight squats throughout the day is really quite huge.
mm,
I want to say it was like every hour.
yeah.
It was a fair amount, but I think we just have these thoughts that it has to look like the internet, but
Mm,
that's not your life. You know
no.
what exercise looks like in your actual life, and
Yeah.
where would you place that, and how, and but I will say everybody will find those nooks in the day to exercise. So for instance, I will do a 10-minute mobility routine. I'll do my vibration plate 5 to 10 minutes and then do my mobility routine before I treat my patients. So it helps me feel better so I don't feel stiff. I feel like my brain's pretty clear when I get moving my brain. So I use it as a tool to make me feel better. And that thought alone, doing it to
Mm,
make me feel better, is more of an intrinsic motivation, which means I'm more likely to do it. So that means I'm more likely to do it frequently. And
hmm.
doing it frequently helps you do more consistently. Like technically, if you think about consistency, sometimes that paralyzes people as well. So
Yeah.
frequency, how many times can I get this in my day? How many times can I get that in my week? Let me up my frequency. Let me see if I can do this.
Mm.
That's kind of helpful. And I just take it day by day.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. And last week in our botched recording that we can't publish, you talked about like even bringing in something that like you're doing, like folding the laundry.
Oh, yes.
um,
So,
as like a like off from something tough, like when you're doing
yes.
rest. Yeah.
So I have a busy life like everybody
Mm,
else does. I don't drive to the gym because I don't have time to even drive to the gym. So I have equipment in my basement that I'm lucky I have a basement and I'm lucky I have that equipment because exercise is a luxury. But in between my three, let's say I lift very heavy with my squats and my deadlifts, I'm going to have a 3 minute rest between my heavy, heavy lifts. I
mm,
am folding laundry or answering emails. Now, that multitasking doesn't bother me. Now,
yeah.
I could also do abs, but if I have laundry to do, women really do take on the weight of the world. And sometimes cleaning their house, sometimes the things that they have, childcare, taking care of their pets, stops them. So I
Mm,
started to put the tasks that were needing to be done in with my actual workouts.
yeah. And I was thinking back to when my son was little and I used to lie down on my back and put him on my feet and lift him up. I'm like,
Yes.
well, that's kind of like a leg press. I mean, a bit lighter than you would do at a gym, but it's still activating muscles.
Right. So playing with your kids outside, playing kickball,
Mm,
playing basketball with your kids. I help my kids track team. So, I might be doing high jump with my little high jumpers. But playing with our kids is activity. Now, it's not targeted exercise to fix whatever's hurting us, but it's helping us move. It's getting blood flow. It's muscle mass. And yes, there are seasons of life where your exercise looks different because you are chasing your child at the park and kicking
mm.
that soccer ball with your child outside, but that does count as exercise.
Yeah, I love that. And so I really think we all need to think a lot more flexibly about our life and where things fit
Yes.
in. Um,
Seasonally. Yes. Flexible and seasonally. Yes.
yeah, and let go of the 6 a.m. walk that you used to love doing if you've got a newborn. It's not happening right now, right? Don't feel guilty about it. It's just not the season. That's all.
And actually, that's when I started doing a mini trampoline is with my firstborn, I felt like sometimes I couldn't get out of the house. I couldn't walk, I couldn't run. So I had a trampoline that I would
Mm,
just run in place or jump. And then when he was like 3 years old, he would also jump on this mini trampoline, this rebounder. And this is when I actually started using that a lot more consistently. But
yeah.
now I don't use it as often. We're entering spring soon, so I'll be outside more. So I'll use my trampoline less. So maybe I use this stuff more in winter. I do this more in summer, but that's why every season, literally and figuratively, we have to check in with ourselves and be like, okay, this is
Mm,
not working. What am I going to
yeah.
do now?
Instead of let it go, that's too hard. Go, okay,
Yeah,
that's not
just
working. What does it look like now? Yeah, so powerful. And now you've mentioned a couple of little gadgets there. So can we talk about the tools you can bring in if you either want to, can afford to? I
sure.
love that you used the privilege word because I think it's really
Oh,
important
it
to
is.
remember we can do a lot with absolutely no equipment, but some people want the equipment, and a couple of things sounded fun. Rebounding, what are we doing there and why? And then the vibe plate.
So so that extrinsic motivation, that fun. So
Mm,
sometimes people do like to buy new equipment, which is a luxury, to help jazz things up. I saw somebody make a joke about menopausal women will do anything but exercise, meaning all those gadgets. Well, you know what? We've lived a while. Maybe I want
yeah.
to change it up. But the
Mm,
vibration plate I
yeah.
started doing
Back off, buddy.
because yeah, but whole body vibration is it's trendy right now, but it is not new. It's been along the lines of like the osteoporosis and lymphatics. Now we know that vibration, when I stand
Mm,
on that plate, turns on what's called the tonic vibration reflex. So my lower leg muscles contract because my body feels the shaking happening. I was experiencing horrible tendonitis, joint pain, stiffness with my perimenopause. And I was hurting so bad, I just thought I need something that's like a low hanging fruit. And so I started on my vibration plate. I started with like 3 minutes and then worked my way up to 10. And I
mhm.
just stand on it with my knees bent. Now, one might argue my knee pain got better because I was doing an isometric hold on my vibration
Ah,
plate.
with the slightly bent knees. Yeah.
Right. but I felt better. I felt like kind of invigorated. I felt like my brain was awake. So it supported my lymphatic system because I'm shaking, but I'm
Mm.
really not doing anything. And then I also, depending on the time, the day, I might do an upper body little routine. I might do bicep curls and do some stuff with deltoids. I might do some rotator cuff bands. I might hold a kettlebell and do some squats, but it made it fun. But I actually
Mm.
started doing it because I felt bad. So people also ask me, well, should I get a trampoline or a
Mm.
vibration plate? Well, in my people that really, really hurt, I think the vibration plate is an easier way to go because some of those people that have sore legs, they could just sit and put their legs on a vibration plate. The
Mm-hmm.
trampoline is a little more vigorous, but that's a good thing too. So if you think you're, looking for something to do in winter, you could jog in place. You know what I mean? So it's kind
Yeah.
of
And you
fun.
could kind of move some light dumbbells on a trampoline
Yes,
or a
and
vibe
just
plate for that matter.
yeah, right. So if we were to talk about a similar option with no cost, years ago, let's say 25 years ago, there was this VHS video called "Walk Away the Pounds," and my
Oh,
ladies used to love this.
my mom had that. We had
And
that.
all
We
you
had the Fonda video. We had the
yes.
7 minutes a day, 7 days a week, Richard Simmons video. We had it
I
all.
have
Yeah.
patients who tell me
Mm.
they still do Richard Simmons workouts because they think it's fun. I have
Mm.
patients who still do walk away the pounds, which, by the way, all that is you standing in front of your television and walking in place. And the research shows that is incredibly helpful. You can
Mm.
watch your television and walk in place.
And
And
there's
so,
free YouTube videos with people taking you through that kind of stuff.
yes.
Yeah. Mm.
So, like anything I can do to help people find a solution. But sometimes people want to get something new because they want to make it fun. And yes, it does make it
Mm.
fun.
Yeah.
That means you're going to get on it and
That's
you do
it.
it.
And what's your fun dumbbell? Like like a kettlebell, but it's not like metal. What is that?
Oh, so yes, those are very popular. So it's a soft kettlebell.
Hmm.
Soft kettlebells in the US, it would only go up to 30 pounds. I have a 10 kilogram pink one that people love. But anyway, these soft kettlebells are very user friendly for my ladies, which I'm normally talking to people who haven't exercised, they're nervous. And so it's soft. They could drop it, it won't hurt their feet. If they drop it on the ground, they won't hurt the ground. And so I teach women how to hold this soft kettlebell and I make them pretend it's like a very heavy bag. And we're going to
Yeah.
hold it with two hands and we'll do a deadlift or a squat. And they're like,
Hmm.
okay, okay. And then we maybe do like a split stance squat. But it is a nice entryway into exercise for my women who are incredibly nervous. And
Mm.
once they feel confident, which is very important for women, they need to
Yeah.
feel that they can do it and do it safely. Then they're like, okay, I'm ready to do some more things. And so then maybe we'll add in a set of weights that they could do a bicep curl with. And then that's maybe the next piece of equipment they have. And if they don't
Mm.
do a kettlebell, that's what I would recommend them. Is, okay, go to your store, go pick up a pair of weights and see, does that feel comfortable? Could you do 8 to 10 reps of that without hurting yourself? With maybe, let's say 2 reps, like saved, right? So like
Mm.
for you, could you do 8 to 10 reps of something and say you have 2 reps in reserve? That would be pretty hard for you. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? The reps
Yeah,
in
yeah.
reserve.
So
Well,
are
you
you
could do 10
saying
more. You could do 10
yeah,
more.
yeah.
You could
Got
only
it,
do
got it.
two.
Yeah.
But
And do we want to not do the two?
well, you can, but like, so say if you are trying to figure out the appropriate weight. So let's say we were going to do the basic 3 sets of 8 to 10.
Hmm.
If you can do 10 more of the bicep curl, that weight's too light for you.
Ah, and that's something you could test out in the shop before you buy and then
Yes.
get home and go, oh crap, it's too light. I should have gone heavier. Mm.
That's right. And so when people are trying to figure out what to do and you're
Mm.
nervous, you could go to the store, you could go to your store and try these weights out.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
good.
think people just need to know where to start. And so sometimes it's setting up your home gym, quote unquote, just meaning having a piece of equipment to
Mm.
lift.
Mm.
I have one woman who loves to move rocks in her backyard, and Peggy will move rocks in a rock pile, you know,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the
we
technique,
learnt
right,
from
Peggy?
Yeah, do it. We learnt from Dr. John Lapuma, who's a lovely doctor over in Canada, regenerative farmer, chef. He's picked up a few feathers in the bow, and he is just about to bring out a book called what is it? The Indoor Epidemic. But for him, that's like a scary publisher title. For him, it's about the outdoor RX. And even so, if you've got a tiny backyard, if you've got a big backyard, if you're on a property, if you've got a balcony, if you've got a local park, anything that you can just do some of your exercise outside, like the lifting rocks. He said gardening is one of the most powerful health hacks because you're not only moving, but you're outside moving. Now, that's tricky
which
in the
is
Northern
grounding.
Hemisphere. Yeah.
Yes, it's grounding you, and you are truly getting connected. Like
Mm.
it's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. However, I do jokingly say in Ohio and in the US, when it finally
Yeah.
warms up, I jokingly tell my patients when it finally is warm that they need to calm down with their binge gardening. They've been inside for so
Binge gardening.
they will go binge garden for 3 hours and then their
Mm.
back is horrible. And they're like, oh my gosh, my back hurts so bad. I'm like, did you binge garden? You
Yeah.
should have limited yourself for an hour. Calm down. Now you're sore. You could do an hour a day. Let's not go 3 hours in. Let's space it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're so excited to be outside. And anything that we do that's like way too long, more than normal, will exacerbate us. It kind of cause some issues. So like I just kind of put that little thing in their ear, try not to do 3 hours. Or maybe if your back hurts after an hour, you go rest for a bit. Then go
Mm.
back.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. So let's unpack pain a bit because this is another thing that is a barrier for people. And oh, actually, no, wait. I have one more question. I have one more question because it's important in this hyper consumerist late stage capital world that
Oh,
we've found ourselves in.
yes.
The vibe plate. Now, if you get some famous biohackers email telling you that, with your 20 off code from
Sure.
from whoever he is, it's only $1,800 instead of, 20.
So,
What can we look for to know we're getting a good
sure.
enough one without like blowing an unnecessary budget? Edible Beauty is starting us on a very good footing with 30% off site-wide, and this is for Australia, UK and New Zealand listeners. 3 products from their range. I will never be out of stock of these in my home, and that is the Exotic Goddess Serum, which is a beautiful serum under your day moisturizer for hydration boost and antioxidants to get you protected for the day from whatever it is you might encounter. It's that beautiful added hydration and protection. And then the Super Stem Cell Concentrate. The data that they got from users in the trial group was astounding when it comes to firmness, a general sense of brightness, and green chemistry has come a long way. I would treat that as before your night cream because it works on elasticity, firmness. So we want that being worked on while we're asleep and regenerating. I would absolutely give it a go because it's $100. So 30% off gives you a very tidy price. Of course, they've got a fantastic award-winning sunscreen and the radiant enzyme peel. I could go on. 30% off, code LOTOXLIFE. Thank you, Edible Beauty. I hope you enjoy. If you are lucky enough to live in Sydney and surrounds, Newcastle, Central Coast, Blue Mountains and Wollongong here in New South Wales, then Zestiny Farm, a lush oasis on the New South Wales Central Coast, is a podcast partner this month. From mid-Feb to the end of March, you have 50% off any of their fruit and veg mix subscription boxes. You can try the compact size, which is the smallest one, the classic, or the bounty, which is the one my family gets every week. 50% off that first box. You are not locked into any contracts or anything. You are just free to try and jump on this subscription. They're blending Mediterranean techniques with regenerative practices and modern innovation, and they're cultivating something really special. I have the great pleasure of having known the founders of this farm many years through previous businesses that they've had. That they have big goals. The bigger picture of what they're trying to achieve is truly inspiring. So I was absolutely stoked to take my weekly delivery to you guys, you will notice it's not all perfect looking produce. You will notice though, the flavour is big. Enjoy Zestiny Farm. I can't wait to hear what you think.
So here's the thing. If a person is a female who is worried about bone density, osteopenia, osteoporosis, or just that is their worry,
Mm.
a vibration plate that is 30 hertz, 30
Mm-hmm.
hertz is what we look for.
Okay.
My vibration plate, I oftentimes talk about that is the affordable option. It only goes up to 12 hertz. Now that 12 hertz is going to help lymphatics, it's going to help my joints. But if we're talking about bony health, it's 30 hertz. Now,
Okay. So
the
young and
University
just trying to get something done as a new mum, you could do the 12. But if we're
Yes.
now in our bone protection maintenance phase, 35, 40 plus, we want
Will
the
be more
30.
expensive. So the 30
Okay.
hertz because of the motor, it will be more expensive. So those will be in the 300, 400 range. Now, some people say that those units that you can get aren't effective. Well, I mean, maybe that was true 20 years ago, but like technology has changed. We actually now can get nice units that are more affordable. So like you
Mm.
look for a reputable company, and then you look at the hertz. And also some of the plates, I don't like how they might have a weird oscillation. So I do think I like some plates more than others.
Mm.
Some plates have more of a pistoning, more lateral, but the hertz is the safest way to go. And also a good company would have a return policy.
Yeah.
If you
Don't get
can't,
the no-name Amazon
yes,
brand
do
and
not,
try and avoid
do
Amazon.
not get the no.
Yeah.
Yes, do not get the
Mm.
no name. But
Mm.
I think it's real. And I can tell you that my ladies love it. Love it.
Yeah.
But there was a study at the University of Dayton, and they found in this geriatric population, they thought they would make a very low hertz, 2 hertz, like nothing. There was like no placebo for women. The women felt good on everything.
Oh,
So,
wow.
it's kind of one of those things. I think some people will really benefit from it. But if you are a 22-year-old athletic soccer player on a college scholarship, you might not have that same benefit as us
Mm.
because, what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the crowd I speak to, they do love that vibration plate and they do feel good with it. But it
Mm.
is not for all people, just to say for the record. People that have acute low back pain, no, if you have acute low back pain, you should not be on it
Mm-hmm. And why is that?
because it irritates the back with the
Got
shape.
it. Okay.
It
Yeah.
irritates it.
Yeah. One less thing you need. Good. Okay. So let's talk about pain because that is obviously a big barrier for a lot of people and they're
Huge.
worried they're going to hurt themselves more, or it's hard for someone who maybe hasn't experienced pain before to know what the safe sensation that's like, oh, what's that, versus the unsafe, oh, I should back off because that's going to cause more damage if I keep going on that. Like, how do we get comfortable with uncomfortable and know the line where it's actually not good to continue?
So let me just say this. So the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause is real. So
Mm.
women, as they go through the menopause transition, I think have more pain at baseline. When I
Mm.
talk to women, it seems to be 4 out of 10 pain on a daily basis. So they're always in pain. They'll have various spots that have tendonitis or bursitis. And so there is just widespread pain, but we can't just leave them be. We have to move them. So we have to challenge the tendons and muscles to help them heal. And so
Mm.
that's where pushing through some pain, because it is kind of almost always achy, is where we have to figure this out. So a pain we don't push through would be sharp, right?
Mm.
So say you're doing your deadlift and you're fine, and then all of a sudden at rep 8, you feel the sharp pain. No, stop,
Mm-hmm.
nope, stop. You know what I mean? And you stop that set, you take a break. Maybe you lay down and do some bridges or do your ab stuff. Maybe you need to lower the weight down, but we modify. So I observe and then I reassess.
Mm.
So I might maybe just needed to take my weight down. That doesn't mean I need to like quit deadlifting altogether. But sharp, bright pain. Now, some of my women will tell me, oh, Wendy, my back was hurting so bad. My shoulder was hurting so bad. I just hopped up out of bed. I'm not even kidding you. And I'll do some push-ups. And then those couple push-ups made my shoulder pain go away and I felt better. So there is kind of that kind of
Mm.
weird pain that happens where there's this stiffness that is happening and a little bit of movement helped actually loosen it and you felt better. So
Yeah.
an example is if somebody's doing some exercise. So say they're doing that bridge where they're on their back and their knees are bent and they're lifting their hip up. If a person comes to me for back pain or a side joint dysfunction, they'll do a bridge for me as part of their program. And when they first go to do it, maybe the first two hurt. And I say, okay, if it's still hurting by five, we'll stop. But let's see if it
Mm.
gets better in just a couple reps because it was a little sore the first two. And then the third one was better. The fourth one was better. And by the fifth one, it wasn't so bad. But that's not a
Mhm.
sharp pain. That was kind of just a little.
So it's almost like a wake up pain, like you're waking up muscles, and because you're in midlife,
That's right.
that actually feels a bit uncomfortable until you get going.
That's right. So, like when women
Mm.
wake up in the morning, we do not wake up like we did when we were 18. You know,
Damn it.
think you're going to wake up like you're 18, but you hobble
Mm.
down the hallway because you're stiff, you're tight.
Mm.
But as you move, you warm up those tissues and we are more stiff because estrogen helped us with pliability. And so that's the kind of thing where we need movement to help us loosen up our stiff hips. But sometimes a hot, fast, bright pain comes along and we're like, oh, wait, pause a second, put that weight down, stop what you're doing.
Mm. Okay. Cool. Good
It's the
advice.
intensity, I suppose, the intensity,
Yeah.
the abnormal sharpness.
Yeah.
But then
And
again, I
so,
have to tell
yeah.
you, you could throw your back out buttoning your romper. You could sneeze and throw your back out. So I have women that'll come in so embarrassed and be like, I hurt myself very badly. I was buttoning my pants. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It
Mm.
happens. It is so weird how we can get hurt so quickly, but really it was just building all along and it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right. And so then let's talk about this transition menopause and what we could be doing to improve. Like, I know you hate yoga, but you love yoga for what it does for you, for
Yes. Oh,
example.
right. Right.
And so we do talk a lot at the moment in almost a trend and culture way about strength in midlife, but we're losing mobility and flexibility as well.
Yeah, so that's a real problem, which by the way, the authors of the landmark article, The Musculoskeletal Syndrome of Menopause, I will tell you, you had one of the authors on, Jocelyn Whitstein,
I did.
patron
I
saint
love her.
the
Mm.
patron saint of frozen shoulder is one of those
Hmm.
authors, and she does research on too. Anywho, in that article, it really nicely explains what's happening to us. So our cartilage isn't remodeling as well because estrogen partially helped the dense extracellular matrix. Our tendons are more prone to not remodel as well. We generally have more inflammation because estrogen helps control our inflammation. And so the way exercise fits into our life now, because we're painful all the time, is we have to practice joint mobility, flexibility. Yoga could be an example of that to help keep our joint range of motion, which is,
Mm.
moving it all the way through and keep our tissues pliable. And so that's one piece of it. And then we have to do strengthening to help the tendons remodel and the bones. And so when we do exercise, though, we also have to be respectful of don't do too much. It's like Princess and the Pea, because we don't necessarily recover like the 22-year-old version of ourselves. We might have to have a recovery day that involves slow walking, gentle yoga. I cannot lift 4 days in a row and be okay. I can't.
Mm.
It hurts me way too bad. I don't even
Mm.
know that lifting 2 days in a row is good for me because I don't have that same speedy recovery as I once did because I'm just
Mm.
generally more inflamed.
Yeah, I used to play tennis 4 times a week, and my physiotherapist said, so you can still play tennis. That's the good news. But twice a week is better. You need some big gaps between those really intense lateral movement days, and they need to then be different types of exercise to allow you to play those 2 days of tennis really well. Mm,
So we just have to diversify our exercise portfolio. We just can't put
mm,
everything in one basket. Like I do
yeah.
Pilates. I don't talk about that a lot, but I can't just do Pilates. I have to do strength training. I can't just do strength training. I also have to do something for my heart. I have to do my walking. I have to do my mobility. And that's also, I think, an interesting piece where we are in life is that maybe we have to change up our exercise and we just kind of feel overwhelmed with, well, what do we do? What do I do?
Mm,
That's not what I used to do,
yeah.
you know? But rest
Yeah.
and recovery is very important. And so I personally take creatine to help me with my recovery. I found that that helped me be less sore with my weightlifting. We have very solid research that creatine is important through various stages of a woman's life.
Mm,
And so for me, I found I had less soreness post workout of my lifts. So we know creatine helps us with post oxidative, that workout stress, but it also helps us with ATP and that energy production. So
mm,
that's one thing that worked for me. I
yeah.
also know that the joint mobility is part of that rest and recovery, that
Yeah.
yoga, that breath work.
Mm. And then it's about just remembering where we started this conversation, which is that doesn't mean hours and hours of all these different
Nope.
things. Keep it in
Right.
snacks. Think about when it works in your day. As you were talking, I was like, when I sit down to watch my little show with my hubby, first 10 minutes could be some stretching before I settle. That's what I was thinking. That's a snack I could create. Yeah.
Right. And
Mm.
so he might want to do it with you, you
Yeah,
know?
well, he usually does some stretching when we're watching TV. I'm like, and I just sit there, like, no, that's when I could do it
That
too.
could be together. That
Hmm.
could be together. But
Hmm.
yes, so it's all about where does it fit in your life? And if your husband is already stretching, that is perfect.
Yeah,
It's perfect. He's
get up
already
off that
somebody
couch.
that can hold you accountable.
Yeah, that's it. Mm. So good. Okay, I have a few little rapid fires for us to finish,
Sure, sure.
Wendy. I'm going to bring up my screen because I don't want to forget any of them. But if you had to pick a favorite child, your favorite strength exercise is what?
My favorite strength exercise is a deadlift.
Mhm.
I love like a B stance or split stance. So like one foot's back, one foot's forward. I feel like it's
Ooh.
incredibly functional
Hmm.
and it also gets your glutes really firing. So
It's kind of a good way to do like single leg, kinda, and get each
yes,
one working. So neither is compensating for each other, which if you're side by side, it could, right?
right, right. Now, you
Very
said
cool.
favorite child. Did I hear you say that?
Well, I did in terms of exercise. So that I
I was
was
gonna
kind of being,
say it's my dog Pixel. It's my dog Pixel. My wiener dog Pixel is my dog soulmate.
yeah.
He is my once in a lifetime kind of guy. That is my favorite
Mm.
child, my fur child. I have four children, and
They're very
dogs.
uncomplicated. Food, walk,
Yes,
sleep, tiny bit of play. That's
he
it.
loves me. He
Mm.
loves me so much. I am
Aw.
his
What kind of
everything.
dog is he? What breed?
He's a long-haired Dachshund. He's black
Hmm.
and tan, but he could be an incredible jerk. But he's
Yeah,
my
Dashies have
soulmate.
attitude.
Oh,
Absolutely. Mm.
it's because you can see the whites of their eyes are so expressive.
Yeah, they really are. They always give my
Yeah.
giant golden attitude in the park. They're the
Yes.
ones who are like,
Yeah.
don't you
My
dare.
Dachshund.
I love it. So good. Um, Exercise that you hate the most out of everything you do.
Yoga. And I do
Okay.
research on yoga. I
Hmm.
hate it, but I'm
Mm.
telling you, I do it because it works. But to quiet my mind and to breathe and to move slowly is not who I am, but it is very important to become what I need to be. So,
Oh, I
yeah,
love that phrase. Yeah, I feel
it
exactly the
is.
same way.
Yes.
I hold on to how I feel after yoga as my motivation,
Yes.
like what you were talking about before. If you hang on to the intrinsic motivation of it makes me feel good, then you
More
can
patient.
quieten all the bits that give you the shits about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, different flavor here. Coffee or margarita if you're having a drink.
Coffee.
Hmm.
Because I can drink it all day long, every day. Although I do love a spicy margarita.
Okay. Yes, spicy marg, very popular here at the moment.
I love it.
Your goat meal, as in not actual goats, but like greatest of all time. What's your favorite?
So, so in Miami, Florida, there's
Mhm.
Carbone, but there's also one in New York, but it is beautiful inside. It's retro, it's plush, it's just a vibe, and I love it. I also love South Beach. I love Miami.
Okay, cool. When I'm allowed back in the US one day, I think my social media feed would not be very helpful at customs right now. We're visiting you guys, but when I'm allowed back, yeah, I'm going to be putting Carbone on my
In a
list.
moment. We are really in a
I,
moment.
I believe so. Well, the whole world is if we take the crazy revelations, shall we just say, without getting into that huge topic.
It is a moment.
It is a moment. I had to pause for that moment because it is a lot. Big hugs to anyone who's feeling completely triggered and pulled apart by this moment. What do you tell yourself on your hard days?
So I will tell you, I try to take it minute by minute, step by step, day by day. I just have to make the next best choice right in front of you. And
Mm,
that is seemingly like it helps me to not be overwhelmed. I just have to make the next best decision.
yeah,
And I don't
just
think too much. I can't
write
think
what's in
about it.
front of
I
you.
just go.
It's
Yep.
like that 5 4 3 2 1 Mel Robbins, right?
Yes, yes,
Do it.
that is what it is because I
Mm,
could be paralyzed by the anxiety, uh, so much so. So I
mm,
have to just jump and go.
yeah, don't think too much. Great advice. And then someone who has inspired you on your journey.
So my doctor's from the University of St. Augustine in Florida, and Catherine Potla is this wonderful woman. So prior to her, I
Mm,
thought you had to look a certain way, be very plain as a physio, no nail polish, no jewelry, just khakis and polos where my soul dies. I am
mm,
much more than a khaki and a polo. But she walked in with these leather knee-high boots, a very tailored, chic skirt, beautiful hair down, turquoise jewelry, and just that she came in and told us all about joint mobility and infills. And she was this image. She is just this vibe. And I was like, I am going to be like her. I am going to be exactly who I am. I'm going to be authentically me, not apologize for it, and be smart and be learned and be fabulous. You don't have to blend in and be boring. And so, you know, she is married to Stanley Paris, who is, they both have classification scales for joint mobility. They're both legendary humans, but she stands alone. And I can't say enough. Seeing her walk into that room that day, being authentically her, forever changed how I perceived myself, that I could be
mm,
exactly me and not have to be a little man. I didn't have to
mm.
look like the men folk. I could be feminine and strong. That
Yeah,
was
what a
that was a real
gift.
moment.
Yeah,
She's
that
amazing.
is such a gift.
She's amazing.
I think we could all think, well, hopefully, if we're lucky enough as women and girls, we get those mentors who give us full permission to show up as we are.
Yes, it was a moment.
Mm. Well, Wendy, I think you help women around the world now with your socials show up as they are and get moving.
I'm the
And
best.
I know. I thank you so much for deciding to do that because it really is just such a help. And because you're so authentic, it's a permission slip for women everywhere as well. So thank you. And thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us in listening to this week's show. If you're not already subscribed or following the show on whatever platform you listened, please do that now. It helps enormously in terms of getting this show out to more people. Another way you can connect and support the work we do so that we can support you in your low tox life is join us in the Low Tox Club. You'll get access to amazing member masterclasses where we invite some of our best show guests for a live Q&A with members. You also have great shopping discounts from low tox businesses and honestly, the nicest low tox community Facebook group that exists on the internet. I do hope you join us there. It costs just the price of a coffee a month on average. Head to lowtoxlife.com, hit the Explore tab, and Low Tox Club is the first option there. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.